So let's go ahead and dive right into my craft room and how I have things set up so that it works for me. It may not look like some other craft rooms where everything is picture perfect, every piece of furniture matches, there is a color theme. Nothing like that is in my craft room because my craft room was built on hand me downs and things that I've just collected over time and have found to work for me. So if it works, the aesthetic part of it doesn't really matter for me. I have things just set up in a way that works best for me when I am creating, and that is what I'm going to show you today is how everything is set up and to give you some ideas of what you might do in your own craft room to make the best use of the things that you already have. I find often that I have organizers and I use them for one thing and then I switch it up and use them for another thing. So here is where you walk into my craft room. And the first thing here is my painting supplies. So I just have this cart, all my paints at the bottom, all my brushes are organized in little mason jars. At the top, I just have all my painting palettes. Then up here on my bulletin board, I just have a bunch of different things from mementos, pictures, mainly mementos. Yeah, it's just a mix of sorts, and there's no rhyme or reason to anything up there. And then here is my desk. So this is the most important part to me in my craft room because everything is within arm's reach and I made it that way so that I can craft better. So starting with the top of my desk, I have my die cutting machine right here. I used to have a Gemini. I still have it, but now I use my Big Shot. I just felt that the plates didn't warp as much on my Big Shot than they did on my Gemini. And then here's where I store all my blending brushes. And I store them in these little cups I found from the dollar store, which are in another plastic bin. And they're just organized by color. So, pink, red, orange, yellow, green. It just goes in Roy G. Biv order. Then I have black and brown and white. So all I have to do is just reach for the brush I need for whatever color I'm using. Back here is really nothing important. This is just my mailing station here where I have this birthday box where I have everyone's name written on a piece of cardstock and it has their name, their address, and their birthday. And throughout the years I make cards, I match a birthday card with each of their names. And then when that date comes up, I put it to the front. And then when their birthday comes up, I can remember to send out the card. So that's helped me to send out more cards. Here I have my Copic markers and my Zig clean color brush markers. I just have some random stuff here like my stamp cleaner, some post-it notes, a calendar. Back there is some cleaning supplies, my water bottles, sprays, all that. This is where I just have some markers and pens I use for details. And then I have this rotating carousel where I have pretty much all the tools that I could need on here, from glue pens and little spray bottles, my pickup sticks, my dye brush, glitter brush. This is where I keep my adhesive, my scissors, all these small tools. I like that they are close by and I can reach them without getting up. And then over here, I have some card panels already cut down in different types like watercolor, Bristol Smooth, etc. And here I just have some of my press tools for stamping. and my heat tools are right here. That's just some planner stuff and things I don't really use. That's why they're off to the side. And I have these little trays here that I use for my dies and die cut pieces as I'm working. Going up, I just have this little address thing that I'd gotten for my wedding. I don't really use it much, but I think it's a nice piece to just keep in my room. And I have a extra light here, my computer, and again, the mail stuff and the birthday box. On the wall here, I just have a bunch of paintings that I've done. If you check out Jessie Robinson online, she gives these great painting tutorials, and you just pay a minimum fee, or some of them are free. I think a lot of these were free tutorials, and I literally just followed them and painted. I was actually surprised myself how well I thought some of them came out, because I'm not a painter whatsoever. So I can never come up with these ideas on my own, but her lessons really helped. All right, also going under here, I have a bunch of drawers where I keep a lot of mixed media stuff, just things that I'm going to need while I'm crafting. So down over here, I have my card bases, interactive card supplies, adhesives, some foam adhesive, some cleaning supplies, my ink, mixed media tools, all of my color ink sprays. I have velveteen glaze in here, alcohol inks, Nuvo drops, all my watercolor items here, gelatos, crayons, all my embossing products. This is watercolor powders, mixed media powders, and mixed media pastes and mousse. So notice that everything is labeled, and that's what works for me. I have my Misties here, and then just a bottle of rubbing alcohol for my alcohol inks. Going over to the right, I have a lot of my binders and informational stuff. So down here, I just have all class information from, Jen Shirkus classes to lawn fawn classes to virtual or in-person classes I've taken, summits that I've taken online where I've printed all the resources and kept them in binders. Up here I have my envelopes, some card kits and mixed media kits, and these are class kits. So things that are already put together to do. I just haven't gotten around to finishing them. Then up here I have my Distress Oxide inks, Versifying Clair inks, and Distress inks, and just some letterboard letters and numbers. Up here I have some of my inks. These are actually my less used inks, but this was the best place I had to put them, or the only place I had to put them. So I have my Stampin' Up! Inks and re-inkers. I actually had them in the basement for a while and I was going to sell them. Somehow they made it to the new house. So I just decided to keep them when I found a spot for them. I have some close to my heart inks. I've gotten rid of most of the other ones. A mix of different ink pads here. And I just have some candles here for aesthetic reasons. Moving up, I have my Lawn Fawn twines and a poster that my husband made for me. I have all of my pins here. Up here, I have some cards on display and some pictures with friends. And this is where I take all of my photos for my cards. Going over to the right, I have a few more posters, Lavinia Stamps calendar that I use for inspiration, more cards that I display from people. And then this is my project cart. So all of my projects half done or things that I want to get to are on here. Design team projects are on here. When I come up with a card, I keep all the supplies together until I get a chance to record the video. Up here, I keep generally just news supplies that I need to label. I have my label maker here, and this is just a bag with all my labeling supplies. Some stamps and dies that I need to sell that are extras. Then going over to the right, I have my big bookshelf, and this is where I house all my stamps. So I'm going to be first to say that I have an overabundance of stamps. You do not need this many stamps. So when I say craft your stash, that's what I mean. There are plenty of stamps and products to work with here. I really don't need to buy anything else. So that's why it's my goal to start crafting my stash and finding ways to use the supplies that I already have. But basically, each container is labeled and there's dividers. All my stamps are within plastic sleeves and labeled by their name and brand. I have some 12 by 12 cardstock just kind of randomly in here from close to my heart that I have not used up. It just doesn't fit where I have the rest of my cardstock. Going up here, I have little mini card kits, like crazy creation card kits I can just pull and do on the go. These are my design team bins, so I just keep all their products in those. Design team cards I've created, and then just some other decorations and knickknacks. Going over to the right, up here I have my splatter box, pink canvases, Heartfelt Creations products. I keep those all separate. My printer, a few of my electronics I use, like my scales, my Mink and laminator, and there's just random stuff down here that I had nowhere else to put. That's my dog's pineapple. And going over to here is where my kitchen island is. I bought this so that I would have extra space to work on, and it works great for that. So right now I just have a bucket of stamps I need to put away, a stack of paper I need to put away. I keep my guillotine trimmer right here. And down here, I keep all of my Catherine Pooler inks. These are the inks that I actually use the most. Those are my Distress Oxide inks. So those are still within somewhat of a reach. I usually get up anyways by that point so I can pick them out and see what I have. They're just in these little containers I found on Amazon that just happen to fit perfectly. I also keep this inventory binder in there, and it's really more of a swatch book because I have all of my inks swatched and labeled by name and brand, and then they're within Roy G. Bev order. All my other inks, VersaFine Clair, Distress, my markers, Copic markers, my sprays. So it's really just a swatch book of all the different color mediums that I have. And what's nice about this is that if I go to like a craft retreat where they do have some shopping, I can bring this book easily with me to see what I already have, so I'm not buying duplicates. That's something I'm really good at with my organization, is not buying duplicates of things I've had. I think I've maybe bought duplicates like 3 to 5 times, The duplicates I showed you before, those were actually freebies from Tailored Expressions. So for multiple orders, I got those items free. So I'm going to sell them within the buy, sell, trade group. Down here, I have my cardstock. So all of my color cardstock is here and organized in rainbow order. On each pack, I have the name of the cardstock. These I know are Stampin' Up because they were the first ones I had, but anything else is labeled by brand. So this one, I know it's Tailored Expressions because of these labels, and then these, like this one says Simon Says Stamp. I had 2 scrap bins that I work with, so I usually have a lot of black and white scraps. So I have these bins so I can just throw them in there, and when I need a piece of black or white cardstock to do some die cutting, I just pull from here. If I need a whole sheet, then those are here. All my neutrals are right here. This is my miscellaneous white cardstock, so my Nina 110 pound for card bases, my Copic coloring cardstock, and printer cardstock. And then this is all my specialty paper, vellum, transparency sheets, other specialty papers like metallics and stuff. And over here to the right of my kitchen island, I just happen to have this spot here where I put a box because all of my scraps from my paper trimmer just fall into here, and then I just take it out and empty it. And my trash is right here within reach of my desk. And then over here I have my electronic die cutting machine. So I have a Brother Scan and Cut and my Cricut Explorer Air 2. And this cart can be pulled out further just because the mats, when they go backwards, they go back a bit. So I have the space for that. Down here I have all of my tools for the machine. So this has all my Cricut mats, which are kind of just sitting above it, but writing tools, Cricut tools, vinyl, sticker sheets, foil, infusible ink, tape, and project materials, which both of these kind of have project materials right now, just because they're big and they fit. And then over to the right, I have some cabinets that I keep various things. I don't keep it labeled because I know what's in here and I can just pull the things out as I need them. So here's my Gemini I was talking about. I still have a Cricut Cuttlebug. I think that's what it is, or it's just a Cuttlebug. I'm not sure. All my Big Shot accessories are in that box. All my hole punches, other punches, envelope punches. They're all just kind of stuffed right there because I don't really use them. Some extra adhesives. Liquid adhesives are over here. Then in this one, I just have plastic bags, my label tape, some dividers, labeling materials. All my extra adhesives are down here. All of this is extra adhesives. So I like to keep that stuff on stock. Going up, I have my toner foil supplies, some foil cardstock sheets, some panels, just a dust rag, some other panels. And I have all of my Tailored Expressions insiders and foilets in here if they don't match with the stamp set. All of my toner foil is in here and labeled. I've cut it all down and put them in sheet protectors. This is just some chalk stencils for chalk culture. And then this is where I keep all of my dies in embossing folders. And I organize them the same way with the stamp pockets, but I actually have them stored by theme for my dies. And I also have my embossing folders just all put together because I don't have that many. I think this is all of them right there. So all of my dies and stuff are over here. So these I do have to get up to get. Then I just have some references and a poster here. And then this is my craft closet. So I have a lot of stuff in here. It's pretty organized. Over in that corner, I just have some different project kits for different types of crafting materials. In this cart here, I have crafting materials. So like felts, alpha letter, scrapbooking stuff, cross stitch. So things other than card making for the most part. Here's where I keep my embellishments and my glitter. So this is all my colored glitters that I've collected from multi-packs I used to get at Tuesday morning. Inside here, I have everything organized by color. So everything that's pink is back here. And this basically is sequins, rhinestones, shimmer trim. And then this box is just miscellaneous embellishments. And then I have red here. If you go down, you see all the different colors. Clear, white, silver, and black. And then I have some labeled by theme or holiday. If they did not fit into one of the color categories, that's where they are. So I have this sorted by season, so fall, winter, spring, and summer. These are pretty much like rainbow colored miscellaneous embellishments, and then some other miscellaneous embellishments. Here is where I keep all of my office supplies. So post-it notes, I used to have mailing supplies, some washi tape for mailing, computer supplies, things like that. This is just random sorts. A lot of this is craft fair stuff and packaging. So when I send out packages, care packages, I have stuff for that. In these bins, I also have some random crafts, so like crochet, planner stuff, needle felting, wax seals, chalk culture, flowers. My less used supplies are back here, just some foam and journals. This is where I keep all the cards I've created. I do have a lot. I send out a lot, but I also collect a lot. And usually I will sell some of these on Etsy, or I will do a craft fair and bring these bins with me so that people can sort through them. And they have these dividers that I created just with white cardstock. So they're organized by theme. And then up here, I just have more packaging materials, cards that were given to me, tissue paper, shipping supplies, things like that. I have this that I created for my craft fairs. I don't use it anymore, but that was my first sign. And I just put these up. These are just some mixed media art, some things that were given to me and some things that I created. And then we're back at my door where I just have some bags hanging. So that is pretty much it for my craft room tour.